The morning sun filtered through the tall windows of Bella's coffee house as Detective Tacha Martinez pushed through the glass door at exactly 8:47 a.m. 2 weeks of watching, studying, learning. She knew Judah Kane's routine better than her own now. Every Tuesday and Thursday, same time, same order. A pour-over coffee, black, no sugar. She'd dressed carefully that morning. Vintage leather jacket worn soft at the elbows, minimal makeup, her dark hair pulled into a casual ponytail. An art book tucked under her arm, a prop, but one she'd actually read. Everything about her appearance whispered independent, mysterious, unbothered. According to her research, that was exactly his type. Tacha moved toward the counter, timing her approach. Judah stood near the pickup station, checking his phone while waiting. She reached for the sugar dispenser at the exact moment he turned, and her arm knocked his cup. Hot coffee splashed onto his gray sleeve. Most people would apologize frantically. Tacha had practiced something different. She met his eyes, dark brown, sharp, calculating, and gave him a half smile. "You should watch where you're standing." For a moment, he just stared at her. Then, something flickered across his face. Not anger, interest. "Most people say sorry," he said, his voice smooth and controlled. "I'm not most people." She grabbed a napkin and tossed it to him, then turned to order her own coffee. Behind her, she heard him chuckle. The sound sent an unexpected shiver down her spine. "Focus," she told herself. "This is a job, just a job." As she waited for her drink, she studied him from the corner of her eye. Judah Kane, 32 years old. Former military, now suspected of running one of the largest car theft rings on the East Coast. Luxury vehicles stolen to order, sold to wealthy collectors with no questions asked. Her department had been investigating him for 8 months with nothing solid to show for it. That's where she came in. Get close, gain his trust, find evidence. Simple. Except as she watched him dab at his sleeve, she realized he was doing the same thing she was, studying her. Those dark eyes took in everything, her calloused hands, the confident way she held herself, the book under her arm. "You owe me a coffee," he said as she reached for her cup. Tacha raised an eyebrow. "I don't owe anyone anything." "Then have one with me because you want to." His smile was rare, she could tell. It transformed his whole face, softening the hard edges she'd seen in surveillance photos. She should play harder to get. That was the plan. But something in his directness made her pivot. "One coffee, but I choose where we sit." "Deal." They settled at a corner table, away from the windows. Tacha's earpiece, disguised as a small hearing aid, buzzed once. Her handler's warning, "Don't push too hard, too fast." She brushed her hair back, a subtle signal that she'd heard. "So," Judah said, leaning back in his chair, "do you assault strangers with hot beverages often, or am I special?" "Depends. Do you always stand directly in collision paths?" "Touché." He took a sip of his new coffee. "I'm Judah. Tacha." At least that was her real name. Easier to remember. They talked for 20 minutes. Surface conversation, favorite neighborhoods, the pretentiousness of pour-over coffee. Why this shop instead of the chain on the corner? But beneath the casual words, they were both conducting interviews. She asked careful questions, he gave careful answers. When he mentioned he worked in acquisitions, she didn't press. When she said she was a freelance photographer, he didn't ask to see her work. She noticed everything. The expensive watch he wore too casually, the way his eyes tracked movement near the door, the calluses on his knuckles, fighter's hands. He noticed everything too. Caught her checking her phone when her handler sent another warning buzz, saw her glance at his watch. She could feel his attention like a physical weight. "I'm going to a private car show tonight," he said finally. "Vintage collectors, invitation only. You seem like someone who appreciates beautiful machines." Tacha's pulse quickened. This was the opening she needed, but she forced herself to hesitate. Maybe. He actually looked surprised. "I don't know you. Could be boring. Could be a serial killer convention." He laughed, a real laugh this time. "Fair point." He pulled out his phone. "Give me your number. I'll text you the details. You can decide then." She wrote her burner number on his coffee sleeve with her own pen. "If I decide to come, I'll let you know." Most people say yes immediately. Already told you, not most people. She stood, slinging her bag over her shoulder. As she walked toward the door, she felt his eyes following her. Her hands were trembling slightly. From adrenaline, she told herself. Just adrenaline. That night, in the safe house apartment staged to look like her home, Tasha paced. The text came at 10 p.m. Most people say yes immediately. You made me wait 13 hours. Impressive or playing games? She smiled despite herself and typed back, I was busy, and I don't play games. I win them. His response came quickly. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Wear something that can handle getting dirty. She stared at the message, then called her handler. I'm in. He's taking me to what sounds like the warehouse where he stores the vehicles. Excellent work, detective. Remember, observe, memorize, report, no heroics. After hanging up, Tasha looked at herself in the bathroom mirror. She was still dressed as Tasha the photographer, but her face looked different, flushed, excited. She pushed the feeling down hard. Judah Kane was a criminal. This was an undercover operation. The flutter in her stomach when he smiled didn't matter. The way his voice had dropped when he said, beautiful machines, meant nothing. But as she lay in bed that night, she couldn't stop replaying their conversation. The intelligence in his eyes, the careful way he'd evaluated her, the fact that he'd waited 13 hours to text, probably running background checks, being cautious. She'd spent years learning to read people, to predict behavior. But Judah Kane wasn't behaving like her profile suggested. He was smarter, more controlled, more interesting than she'd expected. It doesn't matter, she whispered to the dark ceiling. In 2 weeks, maybe 3, you'll have what you need. Then he goes to prison, and you go back to your real life. Somehow, the thought didn't comfort her as much as it should have. The warehouse sat in the industrial district, unmarked except for a subtle valet stand. Tacha arrived at 8 p.m. sharp in a sleek black dress that moved like water, expensive enough to fit in, practical enough to run in if needed. Her small clutch held a lipstick camera and a tracker beacon disguised as a compact mirror. Judah waited by the entrance, and the sight of him in a tailored black suit momentarily derailed her thoughts. He looked like he belonged in a magazine, not running a criminal operation. You came, he said, offering his arm. Told you, I don't play games. But she took his arm, feeling the solid muscle beneath the fabric. Inside, the warehouse opened into something extraordinary. Soft lighting illuminated rows of vintage cars, Ferraris, Aston Martins, Porsches, each one worth a fortune. Crystal champagne flutes clinked. Well-dressed people moved between vehicles like art collectors at a gallery. Welcome to my world, Judah said quietly. Taka played her part perfectly. She didn't gawk or gush. Instead, she moved from car to car with studied appreciation, asking knowledgeable questions about engines and restoration work. She'd spent 3 days cramming automotive history for exactly this moment. You actually know cars, Judah observed, watching her examine a 1967 Shelby GT500. I know beautiful things when I see them. She met his eyes deliberately, and heat flickered between them. He introduced her to associates, never with last names, always vague about relationships. This is Tacha. She's with me. Those 3 words carried weight. People nodded, accepted her presence immediately. She was being vetted, absorbed into his circle. As the evening progressed, she planted 2 tracking devices and took dozens of photos with her lipstick camera. But she also found herself genuinely drawn into conversations. These weren't monsters. They were people. Funny, intelligent, passionate about cars. It complicated things. Near midnight, Judah led her to a midnight blue 1969 Camaro sitting apart from the others. He stopped in front of it, and for the first time that night, his careful mask slipped. My father had one like this, he said quietly. Worked 3 jobs to buy it. Someone stole it when I was 12 years old. He never recovered from losing it. Not financially, not emotionally. Tacha felt something crack in her chest. This wasn't part of the criminal profile. This was pain, real and raw. That's when I learned, Judah continued, in this world, you're either the one who takes or the one who gets taken from. I decided which side I wanted to be on. She should say something encouraging, something that would draw him out more. Instead, she found herself responding honestly. Maybe there's a third option, being someone who protects what matters. He turned to look at her, really look at her. What matters to you, Tasha? The question hung in the air. She almost told him the truth, justice, protecting people, doing right even when it's hard. But she couldn't. I'm still figuring that out. When you do, tell me. Something in his voice made it sound like a promise. At 2 a.m., the party wound down. Judah offered to drive her home in what he called a borrowed Porsche 911. She knew she should refuse, maintain distance, stay professional. But she heard herself say yes. They drove through empty city streets, the powerful engine purring beneath them. They didn't talk about his business. Instead, they talked about everything else. Favorite movies. She loved old noir films. He preferred sci-fi. Worst first dates. She told a fabricated story about a guy who brought his mother. He shared an actual story about a woman who tried to auction his watch at dinner. "You're different than I expected," he said as they stopped at a red light. "What did you expect?" "Someone who wanted something from me. Money, status, excitement." He glanced at her. "But you don't seem to want anything." If only he knew. She wanted everything. Evidence, testimony, a conviction. But in that moment, in the quiet darkness of the car, she also wanted things she shouldn't. To know his real story. To understand what made him choose this path. To see if the man behind the criminal was worth saving. He pulled up to her apartment building. The sexual tension had been building all night, and she expected him to make a move. Instead, he just looked at her. "I don't rush things, I want to last," he said simply. It was a test, seeing if she was just chasing thrills or something deeper. She understood the game. "Good, neither do I." As she opened the door, he caught her hand. "I'm going to ask you something serious next time we meet." Her heart hammered. Was her cover blown? "Okay," she said carefully. He smiled. "Just wanted to see if you scare easily." Relief and annoyance flooded through her in equal measure. She laughed, genuine and unbidden. "You're terrible." "Probably. Text me when you get inside?" She did, and his response came immediately. "Sleep well, Tacha." Over the next 2 weeks, she integrated deeper into his world. He brought her to his office, a high-rise downtown with encrypted computers and security that would rival a bank. While he took calls, she planted listening devices in 3 different rooms, disguised as routine feminine movements, checking makeup, adjusting her shoe, leaning against a bookshelf. She met his crew properly. Marcus, the tech guy with a photographic memory. Elena, the negotiator who could sell ice to polar bears. David, the wheelman who treated cars like they were living things. They accepted her as Judah's girl, a title that bothered her less each day. He took her to a firing range one afternoon. She had to recalibrate everything she knew, shoot well enough to impress him, but poorly enough to hide her expert training. She missed intentionally on 3 shots, then clustered 5 near the center. "My ex was military," she lied. "Taught me the basics." Good basics. But she saw him watch her stance, the way she handled the weapon. He was always watching, always analyzing, just like she was. The most dangerous moment came 2 weeks in. They were in his penthouse apartment drinking wine and watching the city lights. She found him staring at multiple screens, showing surveillance footage of his warehouses, his office, even the coffee shop where they'd met. "Paranoid?" she asked, settling beside him on the couch. "Careful," he corrected. "In my line of work, trust the wrong person once, you don't get a second chance. So why trust me?" He looked at her for a long moment, and she saw something vulnerable flash across his face. "Because you're the first person who doesn't want something from me. You don't ask about money, about what I do, about where this is going. You're just here." The words hit her like a physical blow. She wanted everything from him: information, access, evidence. She was the worst possible person for him to trust. But she also saw his loneliness, the isolation that came from living behind walls of deception. "Maybe I'm just good at hiding what I want," she said softly, giving him a truth wrapped in misdirection. "Maybe." He moved closer, his hand coming up to cup her face. "But I don't think so." When he kissed her, it was nothing like she'd expected. Gentle, questioning, real. Not the kiss of a man playing a role, but of someone taking a genuine risk. She kissed him back, and for those few moments, she let herself forget everything else. That night, alone in her safe house, she filed her report mechanically. Locations, names, observations. But she didn't mention the kiss, didn't mention how her hands shook afterward. Didn't mention that she was starting to see Judah Kane as more than just a target. "You're getting too close," she told her reflection. But it was already too late. The opportunity came 3 weeks into the operation. Judah had a meeting across town, something big. He'd been tense about it all day. He kissed her before leaving his office, promised to be back in 2 hours. "Make yourself comfortable," he said. "Mi casa es su casa." As soon as the elevator doors closed behind him, Tacha moved. She had 30 minutes before his security system logged any unusual activity. Her fingers flew over his computer keyboard, bypassing password protections with a device her tech team had provided. "I'm in," she whispered to her handler through her earpiece. "Download everything in the encrypted folders. We'll sort through it later." She clicked through files, copying data to a hidden drive. Financial records, shipping manifests, client lists, exactly what they needed. But as the files downloaded, she began skimming their contents. Something was wrong. These weren't sales receipts. They were intelligence reports, code names, agency protocols, movement patterns for cartel members. Her blood went cold. "Are you seeing this?" she whispered. "Seeing what?" Her handler's voice crackled. "He's not running the syndicate. He's reporting on it. These are surveillance logs, evidence chains. This is federal agent work." Silence. Then, "That's impossible. We have him on camera making deals, moving stolen vehicles." "Then we're both watching him." Her mind raced. "Which agency is he working for?" "Martinez, I need you to calm down." "Which agency?" More silence. Too long. "Stand by. I need to make some calls." "Don't you dare put me on hold. Abort contact. Return to base immediately. That's an order." The line went dead. Tacha stared at the screen, her heart pounding. Judah Kane was an undercover operative, had been this whole time. Which meant, looking for something? She spun around. Judah stood in the doorway, his face expressionless. He must have doubled back, must have been testing her. How long had he been watching? "You're back early," she said, hating how her voice shook. "Seems I had good reason to be." He walked into the room slowly, deliberately. "Interesting reading?" Attack was the best defense. She'd been trained for this. "You've been lying to me. These files, they're intelligence reports. Who are you really?" His expression didn't change. "I could ask you the same question, Detective." The world tilted. He knew, had always known. "How long?" she whispered. "Since the coffee shop." He moved to his desk, leaned against it. "You're very good. The calluses were a nice touch. Rock climbing, right? But you held your cup with your right hand and stirred with your left. Cross-dominant, standard for trained shooters who practice weapon transitions." Tacha's earpiece crackled. Her team was moving in, thinking her cover was blown. She made a split-second decision and crushed the device under her heel. "Don't," she said, her hand moving toward the weapon in her purse. Judah's eyes tracked the movement, but he didn't react. "Don't what? Call my security? Defend myself?" He shook his head. "I'm not the enemy here, Tacha. Or is that even your real name?" "It is." At least she could give him that. "Okay, Detective Tacha, here's what I'm thinking." He crossed his arms. "We've both been playing the same game. The question is, are we on the same side?" "I don't know what side you're on." "Then let me explain it to you, but not here." He grabbed his keys. "Somewhere without cameras, without microphones, without anyone listening." "Why should I trust you?" He looked at her, and for the first time, she saw past all his defenses. "Because if I wanted to hurt you, you'd already be hurt. And because whatever this started as, it became real. At least for me." Her training screamed at her to run, call for backup, treat this as a hostile situation. But her instincts, the same instincts that had kept her alive through 8 years on the force, told her something different. "5 minutes, she said. "You get 5 minutes to explain." They drove to a parking garage 3 blocks away, an anonymous concrete structure empty at this time of night. Judah parked on the top level, killed the engine. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "I'm part of an international task force," he finally said. "Have been for 5 years. My syndicate is a controlled operation. We allow small thefts, track the vehicles, use them to identify members of a global cartel that launders billions through luxury goods." "A task force?" Tacha's mind spun. "Which agency?" "Independent, multinational funding, off books." He pulled out a phone, different from his usual one, and showed her files, official government seals, classified clearances, authorization codes. She scanned them quickly. They looked legitimate. So the cars you steal are bait. We've taken down 17 cartel members in 3 years, seized over 200 million in assets. He put the phone away. But we work in the shadows. No glory, no public acknowledgement, just results. My department has been investigating you for 8 months. I know. We noticed 6 months ago. That's when I started being extra careful. He looked at her. When you showed up at the coffee shop, I had you checked out within an hour. Tacha Martinez, detective, robbery division, stellar record, reputation for doing things by the book. Then why let me get close? Because I needed to know who sent you and why, and because... He hesitated, and she saw vulnerability flash across his face again. Because when I ran your background, I saw someone like me, someone who believes in justice more than rules, who's willing to bend procedure when innocent people need protection. You don't know me, don't I? You've been in my world for 3 weeks. You've planted bugs. Yes, I know about those. You've been recording conversations, photographing documents, but you've also been genuine. The way you talk about your sister, about wanting to do work that matters, about being tired of politics and bureaucracy, that's all real. She had told him those things, late-night conversations when her guard was down. You manipulated me. We manipulated each other. That was the job. He shifted to face her fully. But somewhere in the middle of the lies, something true happened, at least for me. Did it for you? The question hung in the air. Tacha wanted to deny it, to maintain her professional distance, but she was so tired of lying. Yes, but it doesn't matter what it became. We're on different sides of the same operation, working for people who don't even know about each other. Then we figure out whose side is the right one. How? We make a call. He pulled out yet another phone. How many did he have? My handler, real name, real agency. You can verify everything. My captain told me to abort contact because they don't want me interfering with their investigation. But Tacha, think about it. If I'm legitimate, if I'm actually doing what I say I'm doing, then your department is about to blow up years of work and let dangerous people walk free. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to. But belief was dangerous in her line of work. Give me the phone. Over the next hour, Tacha made calls, verified credentials, spoke to Judah's handler, a woman named Agent Ross who confirmed every detail of his story, checked databases that required 3 levels of clearance to access. It was all true. I've been trying to build a case against a good guy, she said finally, slumping in the passenger seat. You were doing your job, but now you know the truth. So what happens next? I report back to my captain, explain the situation, coordinate our investigations. Tacha, he caught her hand. What if that's not an option? What are you talking about? I've been doing this for 5 years. I know how these things work. Your department won't want to admit they've been wasting resources on a joint operation asset. It makes them look incompetent. So they'll either fold the case quietly or, he trailed off. Or what? Or they'll find a way to make me disappear, discredit me, claim I went rogue, maybe even arrange an accident. His grip tightened. I've seen it happen to other agents who got caught in jurisdictional crossfire. That's paranoid. Is it? You tell me, what's your captain going to say when you report that his big case is actually a federal operation? Think he'll thank you for the information? Tacha's stomach twisted because she knew the answer. Captain Reynolds was ambitious, political. This investigation had been his project, his potential promotion. If it fell apart, he wouldn't, she said, but uncertainty crept into her voice. Call him, tell him what you learned, see what he says. She didn't want to, because if Judah was right, if her captain's response was anything less than enthusiastic cooperation, then everything she believed about her department, her career, the system she'd sworn to uphold, it would all be compromised. I need time to think. We don't have time. Whatever you decide, you need to decide tonight, because once you go back, once you report in, there's no taking it back. Tacha looked at him. This man she'd been sent to betray, who'd been lying to her while she lied to him, who somehow became more real to her than anyone had in years. What do you want me to do? I want you to trust me. One more time. and I'll trust you." He reached into his jacket and pulled out his service weapon, ejected the magazine, handed both to her. "Here, insurance. You're armed, I'm not. We're partners now, or we're enemies. Your choice." She took the gun, felt its weight. This was insane. Everything about this situation violated her training, but her training had also never prepared her for someone like Judah Kane. "Partners," she heard herself say, "but we do this smart. We verify everything before we make any moves." Agreed. They spent the rest of the night in that parking garage making plans. By dawn, they had a strategy. Tasha would go back to her captain, report that she'd been made, that Judah was suspicious but still trusting. Buy them time to coordinate properly with Judah's agency. It felt solid. It felt right. But as the sun came up, Tasha couldn't shake the feeling that they'd just stepped into something much more dangerous than either of them realized. Tasha met Captain Reynolds at a diner far from the precinct. He looked tired, irritated at being called in before his shift started. "This better be good, Martinez. He knows I'm a cop." She kept her voice level, factual. "But he still trusts me. I think he's interested enough to let his guard down. We're close." Reynolds stirred his coffee slowly. "How close?" "He's planning something big, a meet with his top buyers in 3 days. If we coordinate with—" "No coordination." The captain's tone was flat. "We're closing this investigation." Tasha's heart stuttered. "What? Why?" He pulled a classified folder from his briefcase, slid it across the table. "Because Judah Kane doesn't exist." "What are you talking about?" "The task force he claims to work for, defunded 6 months ago, shut down due to lack of results and cost overruns." Reynolds tapped the folder. "Check for yourself." With shaking hands, Tasha opened it. Official documents, congressional budget cuts, an agency dissolved, agents reassigned or retired, and there, in the list of agents whose operations were terminated, Judah Kane. "No," she whispered. "He showed me current credentials. Forged. Martinez. He's gone rogue. Kept the operation going on his own. Kept stealing cars. Kept pretending he had authorization." Reynolds leaned forward. "He played you. The whole undercover agent story was a contingency plan in case someone got close. You're not the first detective he's fed that line to." She felt sick. I spoke to his handler, Agent Ross. Agent Ross was real. She's retired now, moved to Arizona. Want me to call her? Want to see how surprised she'll be to hear from one of Kane's victims? I need to... She couldn't finish the sentence, couldn't think. Reynolds pulled the folder back. "Here's what's going to happen. The cartel meeting in 3 days, it's real. Kane's arranged for the top buyers to attend, showing off his crown jewel collection. We're going to raid it, take down the cartel, and eliminate any loose ends." Eliminate? He knows too much. He's committed actual crimes, theft, fraud, conspiracy. And if his story gets out, if people learn we didn't catch him earlier, it makes us look incompetent. Reynolds' voice was cold, practical. "So he becomes a casualty of the raid, caught in crossfire. These things happen. You're talking about murder. I'm talking about clean resolution to a messy situation. The cartel gets arrested, Kane gets buried, and your undercover work gets credited for the whole thing. Promotion, commendation, maybe even a transfer to a federal task force." He smiled. "Real one this time." Tasha's vision narrowed. "And if I refuse, then you're a loose end too." The smile vanished. "Don't be stupid, Martinez. You did your job perfectly. Now let us finish ours." She made herself nod, made herself look compliant. "What do you need from me?" "Confirm he'll be at the meeting, that's all. We handle the rest." Back in her car, Tasha gripped the steering wheel until her knuckles turned white. Her mind raced through scenarios, facts, lies, truths all tangled together. Was Judah really rogue? Had he played her? The evidence seemed clear, but something nagged at her. Reynolds had been too prepared, too smooth. That folder appearing exactly when she started asking the wrong questions. She drove to the public library, used their computer to access databases Reynolds wouldn't be monitoring, searched for Agent Ross, found her retirement notice from 2 months ago, not 6, found her contact information. With shaking hands, Tasha called. "Agent Ross? This is Detective Martinez. I need to ask you about Judah Kane." "Oh, thank God!" The woman's voice was sharp with relief. "Someone finally reached out. I've been trying to get word to him for weeks. Is he safe? What? The task force wasn't defunded. It was compartmentalized after a security breach. We went darker, changed protocols. I retired as part of the cover story. But Kane should have been briefed, unless someone's blocking communications. Papers rustled. Who's your supervising officer? Captain David Reynolds. Silence then. Get away from him, right now. Martinez, Reynolds is compromised. He's been on the cartel's payroll for at least 2 years. The world shifted. How do you know? Because Kane's been investigating him. We flagged Reynolds 6 months ago when he started asking too many questions about our operation. Kane was supposed to be gathering evidence. But if Reynolds sent you in, Agent Ross swore creatively. Martinez, you're both in danger. If Reynolds realizes you know the truth, the meeting, 3 days from now, Reynolds is planning to kill Judah during a raid. Then Kane's walking into a trap, and if you're still in place, so are you. Tacha ended the call, her mind crystal clear for the first time in days. Captain Reynolds was dirty. The evidence against Judah was fabricated, and she just confirmed to a corrupt cop that his target would be exactly where he wanted him. She drove straight to Judah's penthouse, protocol forgotten. He opened the door, took one look at her face, and pulled her inside. What happened? She told him everything, watched his expression shift from concern to anger to cold calculation. Ross went dark 6 months ago, he said when she finished. I've been operating on residual authorization, trying to maintain the investigation until I could re-establish contact. I knew someone in local law enforcement was blocking me, but I couldn't figure out who. It's Reynolds, and he's planning to kill you in 3 days. Judah paced, his tactical mind visibly working through scenarios. The meeting's too important to cancel. If I don't show, the cartel scatters. We lose months of work. If you do show, you're dead. Not if we're smarter. He grabbed his laptop, pulled up files. We expose Reynolds first. I've been gathering evidence, shell companies, money transfers, communication intercepts. It's not enough to prosecute yet, but it's enough to flag him to federal investigators. He told me to confirm you'd be there. If I don't report back, then he knows you know. Judah caught her shoulders, made her meet his eyes. Tacha, this isn't your fight. You can walk away. Claim ignorance, say I disappeared, let this play out without you. He threatened me, said I'd be a loose end too. Then we're both loose ends. He tried to smile, failed. Funny how things work out. This isn't funny. No, it's not. He pulled her close and she let herself lean into him for just a moment. But we have 3 days. We can figure this out. How? Reynolds has the entire force behind him. Your agency thinks you're dark. We have no backup, no support, we have each other. He tilted her chin up. That's more than I've had in 5 years. That's not enough. It has to be. For the next 72 hours, they barely slept. Judah made contact with Agent Ross through back channels, confirming his operational status and transmitting evidence against Reynolds. Tacha reached out to 2 detectives she trusted completely, planted seeds of suspicion about the captain without revealing her full involvement. They planned for every contingency. Fake blood packs, exit routes, signal codes. But beneath the tactical preparation, tension simmered. Every time they passed each other in his apartment, the awareness sparked. Every accidental touch lingered. The night before the meeting, Tacha found him on his balcony, staring at the city lights. Can't sleep? She asked, thinking about my father, that Camaro. He didn't look at her. I became exactly what I hated, a thief. Even if it's sanctioned theft, even if it's for a good cause, I still take things that don't belong to me. You take them to give them back, to protect other people from losing what your father lost. Does that make it right? She moved beside him, close enough their shoulders touched. I don't know, but I know you're trying. That has to count for something. What about you? Detective who crosses lines, plants bugs, sleeps with the, enemy? You're not my enemy. No. He finally looked at her. Then what am I? The question hung between them, weighted with everything they couldn't say, everything they'd been avoiding for 3 weeks because naming it made it real, made it matter, made it hurt. You're the person I'm choosing to trust, Tacha said finally, even when it's stupid, even when it could cost me everything. That's a terrible answer. It's the only one I have. He kissed her then, and it was nothing like before. This was desperate, hungry, born from the knowledge that tomorrow might be their last day. She kissed him back with equal intensity, pouring 3 weeks of lies and truth and confusion into the contact. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers. If something goes wrong tomorrow, nothing's going to go wrong. But if it does, if I don't make it out, Judah, don't. Let me say this. He pulled back enough to see her face. Meeting you was the best accident of my life. Even knowing how it started, what we both were doing, I wouldn't change it. Tacha's eyes burned. We're both going to make it out. We're going to take down Reynolds, clear your name, and then we're going to figure out how to do this for real. No lies, no covers, just us. Promise? Promise. But as she lay in his bed that night, his arm around her waist, his breathing slow and steady against her neck, Tacha couldn't shake the feeling that promises made before battle were the hardest ones to keep. At 3 a.m., her phone buzzed, a text from Reynolds. Tomorrow, 8 p.m. Be ready to confirm Kane's location. This is your last chance to do the right thing. She stared at the message for a long time before typing back, I'll be there. Beside her, Judah stirred. What is it? Nothing. Go back to sleep. But she stayed awake, watching the clock count down to a confrontation that would either clear both their names or destroy them. The warehouse was packed. Judah's crown jewel collection gleamed under strategic lighting, 20 of the world's most expensive vintage cars, each one a masterpiece of engineering and design. Cartel members mingled with collectors, champagne flowing, the atmosphere deceptively elegant. Tacha wore a wire, not for Reynolds, but for Agent Ross and the federal team she'd convinced to stand by. Her position was careful, close enough to Judah to appear as his date, far enough to maintain operational awareness. All the pieces are in place, Judah murmured as they circulated through the crowd. His hand rested casually at the small of her back, but she felt the tension in his touch. The centerpiece of the evening sat on a raised platform, a 1962 Ferrari 250 GTO, worth over $40 million. Beautiful, flawless, and completely rigged with tracking devices that would activate the moment the cartel's top representative placed his hand on the door handle. Ladies and gentlemen, Judah called out at exactly 8 p.m. The crowd quieted. Thank you for joining me tonight. As you know, this vehicle represents the pinnacle of automotive artistry. For my most valued associate, he gestured to a silver-haired man in an expensive suit, Carlos Mendoza, head of the largest smuggling ring in the hemisphere. The honor of being first to examine her. Mendoza smiled, stepped toward the Ferrari. Tacha's heart hammered. Once he touched the car, the tracker would ping every phone in the room, creating a digital evidence trail. Federal agents would have what they needed to issue warrants, freeze accounts, start extradition proceedings. 30 seconds, 20, 10. The warehouse lights went out. Nobody move, Reynolds' voice boomed through the darkness. This is the police. You're all under arrest. But this wasn't the plan. The federal team wasn't supposed to move in yet. Tacha's radio crackled with confused chatter from Agent Ross's team, caught off guard. Emergency lights kicked on, dim, red, disorienting. Tacha saw Reynolds enter through the main door, but he wasn't alone. A dozen uniformed officers fanned out behind him, weapons drawn. Only they weren't moving to arrest the cartel members. They were forming a perimeter around Judah. Kane, Reynolds called, step away from the vehicle and put your hands up. Judah's jaw tightened, but he didn't move toward the Ferrari. Instead, he raised his hands slowly, catching Tacha's eyes. The message was clear. Stick to the plan. Captain Reynolds, Tacha said, stepping forward. What are you doing? The federal team. There is no federal team, Martinez, just a disgraced detective and a criminal she fell for. Reynolds' gun pointed steadily at Judah. It's over. Both of you, on the ground. Tacha's mind raced. Reynolds had moved too early before the tracker activated, which meant he wasn't here to make arrests. He was here to eliminate witnesses and create a story he could control. You're going to shoot us in front of all these witnesses? Judah asked calmly. I'm going to shoot a dangerous criminal who pulled a weapon during a raid. Martinez here will unfortunately catch a stray bullet while trying to protect civilians. Tragic, heroic even. She'll get a posthumous medal. The cartel members were frozen, uncertain whether to run or fight. The other officers looked confused. They thought this was a legitimate operation. Tacha saw Judah's hand move fractionally toward his jacket. She knew what he carried there. The evidence files, the final backup if everything went wrong. But if Reynolds shot him before he could transmit... Wait, she said. You want Kane dead because of what he knows about you. But Captain, it's too late. The evidence is already out there. Reynolds' eyes narrowed. Bluffing won't save you. Agent Ross already has everything. Financial records, communications, your connections to the Mendoza organization. Tacha pulled out her phone, held it up. And in about 30 seconds, so will every news outlet and police oversight board in the state, unless you stand down right now. It was a bluff. The transmission was queued, but not sent. She'd need Judah to activate the tracker first to prove the cartel connection. But Reynolds didn't know that. You're lying. Try me. For a moment, everything balanced on a knife's edge. Then Mendoza, who'd been watching this drama unfold, laughed. You're all fools, police, criminals. You fight each other while the real money flows. He pulled a phone from his pocket. You want to send evidence? So do I. Proof of every cop I've paid off, every official I own, every politician who looked the other way. You're bluffing too, Reynolds said, but doubt crept into his voice. Am I? Then shoot Kane. See what happens when my organization releases 20 years of documentation. Mendoza's smile was predatory. Or maybe we all walk away tonight. You get nothing, I get nothing, but we all get to see tomorrow. The standoff held for 3 heartbeats. Then, chaos erupted. One of Reynolds' officers, a young cop who'd apparently figured out something was wrong, radioed for actual backup. Mendoza's security team appeared from the shadows, outnumbering the police. And in the confusion, Judah dove toward the Ferrari. His hand slapped the door handle. Every phone in the warehouse buzzed simultaneously as the tracker activated, logging locations, creating timestamps, establishing presence. The digital evidence was now locked in, irrefutable proof of who attended this meeting. And through the open warehouse doors, federal agents poured in. The real raid, the one Agent Ross had been coordinating all along. They'd been waiting for the tracker signal. Reynolds saw his plan collapsing. He swung his weapon toward Judah, finger tightening on the trigger. Tacha didn't think. She launched herself forward, colliding with Reynolds as the gun fired. The shot went wild, shattering the Ferrari's windshield. They hit the ground together, grappling for the weapon. You chose wrong, Martinez, Reynolds snarled. No, she gasped, twisting his arm until he dropped the gun. I chose right. For the first time in months, I chose something true. Federal agents separated them, cuffed Reynolds, began processing the stunned cartel members. In the chaos of arrest and Miranda rights, Tacha found Judah beside the ruined Ferrari. You okay? He asked. You better be asking about me, considering I just tackled a dirty cop with a gun. His laugh was shaky with relief. Yeah, I'm asking about you. They stood there, surrounded by flashing lights and shouting officers, and finally allowed themselves to exhale. 6 months later. The coffee shop looked the same. Same pour-over station, same uncomfortable wooden chairs, same pretentious menu. But everything else had changed. Tacha Martinez, formerly detective, now private investigator, pushed through the door at 8:47 a.m., a habit she couldn't break. Judah waited at their corner table, 2 cups already ordered. Right on time, he said. Some habits die hard. She slid into the chair across from him. How was the consultation? Boring, very boring, he smiled. Exactly what I wanted. After the warehouse raid, everything had unraveled quickly. Reynolds arrested on 16 charges of corruption. Mendoza's organization dismantled, with prosecutors still working through the evidence. Judah's operation officially acknowledged and his record cleared. Tacha's situation was more complicated. She'd violated protocol, destroyed evidence, conspired with a suspect. Her captain, the new one, appointed after Reynolds, had given her a choice: face disciplinary action or resign quietly. She'd chosen resignation. Any regrets? Judah asked, watching her carefully. Every day, she sipped her coffee, but not about the important things. They'd spent the past 6 months figuring out who they were without the lies. It hadn't been easy. Trust broken during undercover work didn't heal quickly. They'd gone to therapy, together and separately, had fights where years of deception and manipulation came spilling out. took breaks when the weight of what they'd done to each other became too heavy. But they'd also had moments of absolute honesty. Late-night conversations where they unpacked every lie, every manipulation, every time they'd used feelings as weapons. Judah had cried when he admitted how close he'd come to believing his own cover, to becoming the criminal he pretended to be. Tacha had confessed that she'd known for weeks before the final confrontation that she was choosing him over the case, and the guilt still kept her awake some nights. "So," Judah said, breaking her reverie, "now that we've done everything backward, undercover before dating, life or death before dinner, and a movie, want to try doing this normally?" "What's normally?" "I don't know. Date? See movies? Have arguments about whose turn it is to do dishes?" He reached across the table, took her hand. "Build something that doesn't involve fake identities or wiretaps?" Tacha laced her fingers through his. 6 months ago, touching him had been strategic. Now it was just real. "I don't think we're capable of normal." "Probably not, but we can try," she smiled. "Besides, normal's overrated." "Yeah? Yeah, I've had normal. Safe job, predictable life, everything by the book. You know what I learned?" "What?" "That sometimes the right choice looks wrong on paper. That justice isn't always about following rules. It's about protecting people who can't protect themselves." "That love," she paused, the words still difficult after months of therapy to separate real feelings from manipulated ones. "Love doesn't make you weak. It makes you question whether you were ever really strong on your own." Judah's eyes gleamed. "That's very philosophical for 8:47 a.m. "I've been practicing." It showed. He squeezed her hand. "Okay, here's my truth. I spent 5 years alone, pretending to be someone I wasn't, convinced that isolation kept me focused. You know what it actually did? Tell me. Made me forget that the point of fighting for justice is creating a world where people can be happy, can build lives, can trust each other." He looked at her directly. "You reminded me what I was fighting for. So we saved each other? More like we gave each other permission to save ourselves, but yeah, something like that." They sat in comfortable silence, drinking overpriced coffee, watching the city wake up around them. Neither of them knew what the future held. Tacha's new private investigation business was struggling. Judah's consulting work paid well, but left him restless. They were both figuring out how to live in the aftermath of identities stripped away, but they were figuring it out together. "Hey," Judah said suddenly, "I got a call yesterday. Agent Ross wants to know if we'd be interested in consulting on a new task force. Legitimate one this time, proper oversight, real backup." "We." She said we make a good team when we're not lying to each other. Tacha considered it. The idea of going back, of working in the gray areas again, should have terrified her. But with proper authorization, with someone she trusted beside her, with the chance to do good without compromising everything. "What did you tell her?" "That I'd talk to you first, that we make decisions together now, or we don't make them at all. That's very healthy communication. Our therapist would be proud." She laughed, genuine and warm. "Okay, tell Ross we're interested, but we do it our way. No secrets between us, full transparency. The moment either of us feels uncomfortable, we walk. Deal." They shook on it, and the gesture felt ceremonial. A new beginning built on the ruins of the old one. As they left the coffee shop, Judah caught her hand. "I love you. Feels important to say that when it's not part of a cover story." Tacha's heart squeezed. He'd been saying those words in therapy, practicing vulnerability, learning to trust the emotion behind them. But this was different. This was morning coffee and casual plans in the absolute ordinariness of real life. "I love you too, the actual you, even the parts that drive me crazy." "Which parts?" "We don't have that kind of time." He laughed and pulled her close for a kiss that tasted like coffee and possibility. They'd started with a collision, deliberate and calculated. They'd survived through deception, betrayal, and violence. But they'd built something real in the aftermath, something that acknowledged the past without being destroyed by it, something honest, messy, and entirely their own. As they walked down the street together, Tacha thought about her father's advice, given years ago before his death. The measure of a person isn't whether they make mistakes, it's whether they learn from them and build something better. She and Judah had made every mistake possible, lied, manipulated, used each other. But they had also learned. They'd chosen truth over convenience, love over duty, each other over everything else. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. They still had hard days, still argued about trust and boundaries, still woke up sometimes wondering if this fragile thing they'd built could actually last. But it was real. And after months of lies, real was everything. "So," Judah said as they reached his car, "dinner tonight, actual date, no surveillance, no secret objectives?" "You're on, but I picked the restaurant." "Why do you pick?" "Because last time you picked, we ended up at a place with valet parking and you spent the entire meal analyzing their security protocols." "That was one time." "3 times, Judah. 3 times." He grinned, the expression transforming his face from serious to boyish. "Okay, fine. You pick. But I'm choosing the movie after. Deal. But no spy thrillers. I need a break from work." "What about romantic comedies?" "Absolutely not. You cry at romantic comedies." "I do not. You cried at the wedding scene in that movie last month. It was emotionally resonant." They bickered all the way to the car, comfortable and ridiculous and perfectly imperfect. 2 people who'd found each other in the worst possible way and somehow made it work anyway. As Judah started the engine, Tacha looked at him. Really looked at him. Not as a target, not as an operative, just as Judah. The man who'd held her during nightmares about the warehouse, who'd sat through her anger when the weight of their lies became too much, who'd chosen truth even when it cost him everything he'd built. "What?" he asked, catching her stare. "Nothing. Just, this is nice." "Nice?" "Yeah, normal, boring, nice. Everything we didn't think we'd get to have." He reached over, took her hand, brought it to his lips. "Then let's keep it, for as long as we can." "Sounds like a plan." And as they drove into the morning, toward whatever came next, Tacha Martinez let herself believe in something she'd thought was impossible during those weeks of deception. That love built on broken foundations could still stand. The 2 people who'd started in darkness could find their way to light. That sometimes the most important truth wasn't the one you discovered about someone else. It was the one you learned about yourself. That she was capable of choosing love even when every rule she'd ever followed said not to. That maybe, just maybe, the collision that started it all was less an accident and more a beginning disguised as an ending. And that was enough.